Day 174, June the 23rd. June the 23rd. The blocks of scripture are going to be 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 18 through chapter 5 verse 27, Acts chapter 5 verse 1 through 35, Psalm chapter 141 verse 1 through 10, and Proverbs chapter 17 verse 23. Today I want to look at this section of scripture in 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 1 through 4. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's an interesting story. I'm going to kind of summarize it here. So Naaman, the commander of the army of the king of Syria, he was a great man, he was awesome, and everybody esteemed him. But it even says that the Lord had given him victory in Syria. But he had leprosy. So this man was like a super warrior. Everybody respected him. But he had leprosy. Now, according to things at the time, if you had leprosy, you weren't even allowed to be around anybody. And leprosy is like this terrible infection. Now, verse 2, it starts talking about how the Syrians, in one of their raids, they kidnapped a child. And it says this child was a Jewish child from Israel, and she worked for Naaman's wife. That's where she ended up, is working for Naaman's wife. And Naaman's suffering through his leprosy, and one day, this little girl says, you know, if Naaman would just talk to Elisha, God would heal him. Simple faith. How does she even know that? Has God ever healed a leper before? Has she ever seen God heal a leper before? This is totally new ground, yet she has this rock-solid faith. And because of this faith, we end up with this man, Naaman, going to Israel and petitioning for Elisha to come speak with him to heal him. Now Elisha ends up telling this man, go dip in the waters 7 times. It says, go wash in the Jordan 7 times and you shall be clean and you shall be restored. That's what it says in verse 10. And Naaman is so mad because Elisha didn't even say this to his face. Elisha said this through a message. And Naaman is refusing to do it. He's like, what's this water of the Jordan compared to any of these other rivers that we have? But because of the young girl's faith, another man steps up. In verse 13, but his servants came near and said to him, my father, it is a great word the prophet has spoken. Will you not do it? He actually said to you, wash and you will be clean. And so because of the girl's faith, a huge warrior, a general, a commander, a prominent figure ends up moving and seeking God. And he still doesn't have faith. But because of that girl, the servants have faith. And they convince him, just go ahead and do it, be obedient. And now, suddenly, Naaman washes and he's clean. Now who do you think has faith in God? Got to be a stretch to say Naaman wouldn't at this point. So what do we have going on here? We have this. This little girl, she has more faith than a warrior. And because of that faith, despite people's lack of faith, God honors her faith. Go and grow in faith. How do you do that? By stretching your faith. By stepping out in faith. In the things that make you uncomfortable, but the things that you know God has called you to do. Step out in those things. And it'll be amazing who God is able to impact. See you guys.